A former US Treasury enforcement investigator is now the global money laundering reporting officer at Binance. Greg Monahan joins Binance. He has 30 years of experience in government service, mostly as a US Treasury criminal investigator, which is pretty interesting to see Binance just completely ramp up their regulatory compliance efforts. And I mean, we've seen that the UK is looking to hire a CEO that has a regulatory background. You say that CZ himself is looking to step down and replace himself as CEO with someone who also comes from a regulatory background. I mean, Binance to me was kind of this epitome of open access, and it was this nomadic company that existed all around the world. And now it's like, we are the regulatory compliance one. We are the one that's going to be hiring people with 30 years of US Treasury criminal investigation, running things. It's just a very interesting turnaround from my point of view. I'm going to throw this to you, Will. What are your thoughts on all of this? Where's Binance heading next?
So I have a few different things I want to pull on here. So I think it's interesting to look at past enforcement actions against exchanges and against protocols and seeing kind of where Binance is headed right now. It makes sense for them to kind of like staff up, but that doesn't mean that they're going to get away with anything that the CFTC or SEC or whatever umbrella regulatory body out there is chasing them down right now. If you look at BitMEX, they just got slapped down with a $100 million fine for the investigation I think that the Treasury conducted against them. And then we've also seen like other protocols over the last few years, like EOS, for example, got slapped with like a $25 million fine for operating their ICO, basically, which they call the securities, unregistered securities sale. So I think it's interesting to see like those past actions and be like, hey, they're still going to get slapped. It doesn't matter if you like hire a lot of people. And then I want to see what Zach thinks about the Briar Brooks fallout that happened just a few weeks ago, or maybe even a week or two ago. They can hire all these people, but that doesn't mean that they're going to stick around. And that doesn't mean that once they're inside Binance and they kind of see how things look, that they're going to want to kind of get Binance out of this quagmire that's in right now. But Zach, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if, this guy gets cold feet, right? So, Brooks left reportedly over strategic differences, creative differences, and the band broke up. And now they're trying to bring on as many suits as possible to assuage the fears of global regulators. And hey, it might work, it might not. I think right now they're very much in the position of being like, okay, cool, we're complying with the law. We're very compliant with the law. We love the law. And if that sort of keeps the crypto cops at bay, then good for them. But I think it's still a very open question as to whether or not this enforcement against Binance is going to ramp up. We saw this morning that the Netherlands issued a warning against Binance for not operating with proper licenses. We may see more of that follow, and we may see more serious things follow that. But I think in the meantime, it's incumbent upon Binance to prove that, hey, we are going to do this by the letter of the law, and hey, we're going to hire people who have the expertise to make sure that we comply with global money regulations. So Binance remains really super duper interesting. And I just want to kick it back to you, Naomi, because I think the point is very apt, right? I mean, this used to be the freewheeling, footloose, and fancy free crypto exchange that was able to capture the market because of just that. Can they do that in a world where they're severely hamstrung by regulations? And I think that's probably the big existential question that folks at Binance are facing right now, and whether or not it looks like, hey, we're just a participant in the BSC ecosystem, or we're going to do something different to make sure that people are cool with us. I don't know. I'm just really interested to see how the Binance story unfolds here in the coming months. Will, I saw your hand up, so if you have a thought, go for it. But Naomi, I definitely wanted your take.
Will,
yeah, I just wanted to bring I want to bring into conversation the SEC action against Poloniex that happened, I think, 2 weeks ago as well. And that kind of points to the fact that it doesn't matter who you have on your staff now. It doesn't matter the direction you're trending. The government is still going to dock you for your past actions no matter what. If you're in violations of their interpretations of securities laws from 2018 to now or whenever, it doesn't matter. They're going to fine you for that period. I think now, like staffing up, it just helps you get along with lesser fines or lesser punishment than otherwise you'd get. But Naomi, your thoughts?
Yeah, I will say that question you raised, Zach, about where's Binance heading? Can they still be this behemoth that's super, super popular? Everyone uses it, even if it's kind of mired by these regulations. I think you just need to look at the difference between Binance US and Binance. No one uses Binance US, and there's a reason for that, because they don't offer nearly as many coin pairings. They don't have as much liquidity on there. Binance was the place to go because they weren't concerned about regulation. They weren't concerned about listing something the US might consider a security. And so everyone went there because they were grateful to have this service that was giving them exactly what they wanted. Now, Binance probably stupidly thought that because they weren't based in the US and because they weren't offering these services to US customers and would block the IP addresses of the US, that, that was compliant. But no, we have learned from BitMEX that even if you do that, the US government is still going to arrest your CEO. I don't understand where they got that, jurisdictional power from. I obviously disagree with it. It's ridiculous. And as we said on the show before, if we were to turn the tables and say, like, what if China was doing this? What if China turned around and said, hey, Brian Armstrong, we've noticed that some people in China are getting access to Coinbase. We're going to arrest you. Like, there would be uproar. There would be international outrage about that. Yet when the US government does it, no one blinks an eye. And I think it's absolutely crazy. So yeah, I do think that the US regulatory environment is getting really bad. I think they're going after international companies like Binance, and they're going to rein them in until they comply with US law, no matter where in the global community they are. And everyone's going to suffer a result, and it's really sad to see. And I think the only hope at this stage is decentralized exchanges, which can sort of circumvent all of this.